Cyclone Freddy's major rain threat continues on tonight's Tropical Weather Bulletin. And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for March 9th. Cyclone Freddy, although weaker, is still providing an enormous rain threat to the coast of Mozambique and is getting fairly close now as it trawls across the Mozambique Channel. The 11th storm so far this year, code yellow for it right now, it's still a Category 1. In the Atlantic, it's 84 days until hurricane season and nothing active right now, but there are one or two extratropical cyclones out there in the northern part of the Atlantic, but they're mostly at sea, and one of them bringing winter weather across the British Isles and Europe over the coming days. In the southern hemisphere though, we have what's left of that invest over Australia. You can see it quite inland now, but we've taken it off our chances. A 10% chance still, not far from the island of Rodrigues in Mauritius, which isn't likely to form. And of course, the big long shadow of Freddy. I'm sure we'll remember it for long after it's gone, but it's still going to be here for quite a while longer yet, and could be a massive rainmaker for the coast of Mozambique as it gets closer towards landfall, with the stalling potential increasing too, I'm afraid. In the South Pacific, the remnants of Kevin's still going, and two areas of interest that are quite close together from a big frontal system there, and we could get some one or two or maybe even three tropical cyclones spinning out of that. 20% on that right now. Satellite imagery across the globe, and you can see here, look out for the red areas. That's high concentrations of rainfall. Interesting little feature there in South America, but you can see Freddy there and its rather small rain influence, and over Australia little bits over there as well, but in general not huge amounts of rainfall over land areas right now. Well, here is Freddy, and it has seen better days. When we were looking at it yesterday, it was a Category 3 near its peak, and it really has gone off the boil. It's been barraged by wind shear and dry air intrusion, and its eyewall replacement cycle came at a bad moment from the storm's point of view. Gradual movement still northwestwards towards land, of course, towards Mozambique, but right now the actual structure is extremely dishevelled. It is still packing winds of approximately 85 miles per hour, although it is still on a downtrend unless the storm can reverse its current fortunes. And we'll probably see more gradual weakening over the next day or so, but then again there is some potential for a little bit more strengthening again, rebounding as it gets closer to land. It's quite uncertain though. And this is Invest 99p, the eastern system of the two that we're looking at in the South Pacific there, and you can see it's starting to get a little bit of convection and might detach from that front fairly soon. We'll wait and see on that. Very interesting to watch. Let's check the sea surface temperatures around the world. This is in Fahrenheit, but we also have Celsius at the top there, but don't worry, I'll guide you through it. Around 25 degrees in the Central Pacific, getting up to 27 in the easternmost part of the ocean. Into the Atlantic, a few areas of 26 there in the Caribbean Sea, and also in the lower latitudes of the main development region. Over to the Indian Ocean, and we've got decent temperatures pushing 28 or 29 in the eastern part of the Arabian Sea, and decent temperatures as well further east in the Bay of Bengal. In the southwest Indian Ocean, temperatures are looking okay, 27 degrees. That's one thing going in the storm's favour, Freddy, but in the open ocean it is much warmer, getting up towards 29 degrees, so later season cyclones have a decent chance over there. Same too off the west coast of Australia, where temperatures are pushing 30 degrees Celsius and 29 quite commonplace around the top end, and into the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's a little bit cooler where that invest was. South Pacific looking good, Coral Sea 29 degrees Celsius, and same too as well not far from Fiji. And into the Western Pacific here, temperatures there in the lower latitudes 27 or so, and a bit of a warm pocket right now just to the east of the southern Philippines where it's 28 plus. South China Sea a little bit on the cool side, Gulf of Thailand at 27. Sea surface temperature anomalies show the extent of the cool pool that is in the South China Sea, extending through some of the Indonesian islands into the northern tract of the Australian waters there. Also, the Mozambique channel where Freddy is a little bit below average, but still good enough for the storm. Now then again, if the sea surface temperatures were above average over there, maybe Freddy would have done better up till now. In the southeast Pacific though as well, quite above average there, where we're looking out for those new systems and lots of oceanic heat content. Those two systems east of Fiji looking okay with the turquoises there. That's certainly good enough for storms to develop and strengthen. And you can see the western Pacific is still growing with those warmer areas as well. Energy increasing for that area in the Philippine Sea, mainly near Guam. Well, the GFS computer model, let's take a look at what it's got in store. Well, it is actually forecasting re-strengthening for Freddy after a little gap there, but look at it there, near landfall, getting into Friday, Saturday. That's what we're looking at, but it's an extremely slow landfall there, and it doesn't actually stay over land for long before actually turning back out again. This is a terrible case scenario though, particularly for rainfall if this occurs. Any stalling along that coast is going to prolong very high amounts of rainfall, and we'll take a look at those accumulations shortly, but I can tell you I'm afraid it is increasing the trend. This is the two systems in the South Pacific then. You'll see one or two of them, and in fact you can see several different vortexes, to be honest. GFS isn't really showing which ones might form, but potentially there could be even 5 on there on that loop. But you can just see initially those 2 areas of interest that we're currently watching, and then it's all going on into other little systems all around Fiji and much further towards the east, the Cook Islands and French Polynesia. Rainfall accumulations then for Freddy. It is a pretty dire situation right now, particularly for the area that's being impacted, and as we know, this storm passed through once already. But if this stalling does occur, look how close the extremely high rainfall amounts are getting now to the coastline. And if that trend continues, we could see extremely massive amounts of rainfall. Already, we are currently seeing an expectation of 29 inches of rain over land. That is over 700 millimeters. And we'll look at that just out at sea, not far from land at all. 52 inches of rainfall there. That is an incredible amount. I'm not even sure how much that is. That's well over 1200 millimeters, I believe. But look out the rest of those areas as well. Madagascar may get another 7 inches there. Very northern part of Mozambique, up towards 7 inches and 5 inches in Malawi. All those countries surrounding Mozambique could be in for significant rainfall. Longer range, it turns back southwards, strengthens again, and this time on GFS it's hugging the coastline all the way down towards Maputo, where it makes landfall again, and then turns back towards the southeast and moves on out and becomes an extratropical cyclone right at the end of that run. Those who've been watching tropical weather bulletins quite a lot recently will know that these models are fluctuating still quite a lot, especially at this longer range, so I wouldn't put much stock into that one just yet. Looking at the South Pacific, once again here, several systems trying to develop. These aren't the 2 current invests, this is the next generation, and they both become cyclones there on the day 5 to 10 range, but there's a lot of variables involved in that, especially since we have 5 vortexes at the moment, so who knows what might happen to these ones. But that's what the GFS is currently hinting at, possibly a Tongolese impact there for a category 1, maybe for Niue as well, or indeed the Cook Islands from one of those storms. That's all the serious stuff done. You can scan the barcode and take a look at the Force 13 merch store. We have all of our usual items. Hoodies for winter time, of course, we are entering the warmer months now. We do have towels as well, by the way, that's a new feature that happened last year. And are still waiting for a Hone t-shirt and our full season and individual storm animation requests. In the Scilly range, what else happens in the South Pacific? Well, we just see the tail end of these 2 storms. They don't affect any other land areas. New Zealand getting away with that as well, although it does have a strong extratropical cyclone down the lower latitudes, high latitudes of its own. But that just shows what else happens there. Not a huge amount. Long range is pretty quiet actually at the moment on the GFS model. It's all going on in the short to medium range, as we've already just seen. But you can talk about all of this and more on our Discord server, discord.gg/force13, for tropical weather, general weather, and all other kinds of chat. But of course, we sort of specialise in the science and technology side of stuff, but you can talk about anything you wish over there. On this day, on March 9th, 1973, we had an extremely powerful Category 4 storm Liddy, which was located off the coast of Madagascar and was recurving, nearly reached Category 5 status, peaking at 155, and I think the pressure was 920 I think it was actually. Leah Regine was also active as a tropical storm, dying out, and Madge was about to move off the coast of Australia as a tropical storm as well. It was on its way up, of course, moving out towards open water. March 9th, 1973, 50 years ago. Back to today then, and the first name on this Atlantic hurricane season list is Arlene. In the Eastern Pacific it's Adrian, and in the Central Pacific we are indeed still waiting for Hone. No matter what TCOS code we're in, I think we'll always be waiting for Hone. In the Western Pacific, the first name this year will be Sanvu, and in the North Indian Ocean, the next name is going to be Mocha, but no signs of anything over there just yet. 11 storms so far this year, the average is 92. In the Southern Hemisphere, the next name in the Australian region is Herman, the Southwest Indian Ocean, Fabienne, and in the South Pacific, it's Lola. That's all from tonight's Tropical Weather Bulletin. We'll be back again tomorrow night.